In this video, I'll be breaking down question 45 of the USMLE's 2024 version of the free 120 sample questions for step 1, which is linked in the video description down below. As always, if you haven't taken a look at this question yet, I encourage you to pause the video, try working through the question on your own, and then come back here and check out the breakdown. Okay, so let's take a look at the question, and as always, I like to start at the end, figure out what they're asking, and then go back to the passage and answer the question by pulling out the information we need. So they're saying a drug from which class is most appropriate for this patient. So thinking about what style of question this is, mechanism versus diagnosis versus association, might be a little too early to tell. It might be an association question. It might be a mechanism question. Let's go through and let's see what we find here. So we've got a 5-year-old boy coming in. So they've got coughing spells several times a day, vomits afterwards, a post-tussive emesis. And so birth history, maybe not so helpful. Well, 5 months old. Yeah, maybe we'll be thinking about it, but it doesn't sound like it was super complicated. And no major illnesses, has not received any vaccines, unvaccinated, and coughing uncontrollably for 2 minutes. So this is those coughing spells, and then the gasping sound and the vomiting, which they already told us about. And then in between, it sounds like they look pretty good. No flaring, no retractions, anything like that. Lungs are clear. So what are we going to treat this kid with? So this looks like maybe it's a combination of we've got to make the diagnosis and then know what the best treatment is. And so diagnosis, what I'm thinking here, we've got this cough with these gasping or whooping sounds in the middle with that post-tussive emesis. That's our classic setup for pertussis. And so now we've got to figure out what do we treat pertussis with. And so this, I think, is probably one of the rare examples of a true association question where our mechanism thinking isn't going to help us out a whole lot on this. Where we just kind of have to know what the first line treatment for this condition is. Now, if we didn't know that, maybe we could rule some, think about some other things like straight up penicillin. Do we ever really use that for any of these? Like, I think we use it for like strep throat, for syphilis, but not a whole lot other than that. Cephalosporins, I would probably want them to give me at least a class. I'm not sure, like, generation 1, generation 2, something like that. Fluoroquinolones, I know those have kind of a not so great side effect profile, but when we need them, we need them. So, my mechanism thinking is kind of failing me here if I'm trying to reason through why one of these mechanistically would be the best to treat pertussis. And so the correct answer here is C. That's azithromycin is our first line treatment for this in our macrolide class. Sulfonamides, that's going to be our TMP-SMX. And so if you didn't know this, if you what I would do if I saw this in a practice question, I'd just say, and I didn't know it, I'd then just make myself a flashcard, and one, I'd make sure I could at least have recognized pertussis. And so I think this is a valuable question because it shows us how they're going to give us pertussis in a question stem, what kind of wording they're going to use. And then if I just didn't know the treatment, I would make myself a flashcard for this one and just say, okay, we treat pertussis with a macrolide like azithromycin, and I would leave it at that. I wouldn't feel terrible about missing it. It would just be a learning opportunity for me, so I didn't miss it when it came up the next time. Other than that, I don't think there's a really good mechanism way to work toward this answer. So that's how I would approach this question, both in, mainly in practice. If I didn't know it on the test, I would use this as a learning opportunity to get ready for the test. So if this video was helpful, I encourage you to check out some of the other videos in this series. And as always, I hope this helps you out on test day.